quite amazing how a very small creature can literally instill fear into people. This, as many of you will know, is a deer tick. In Sherwood Forest at the moment, as I film this, it's the last week of May. They are everywhere, all along the grass growing along all the woodland rides, and you can find them in groups as well. Some people claim that they make nests, but there's no such thing as a nest of ticks at all. You'll just get groups of ticks. As much as even I find it hard to like them, I have to admire them because they're so successful and brilliant at what they do. These will literally greet you with open arms on seeing you approach. And if you approach too close and brush up against them, that's all it takes for the tick to latch on to your clothing. So if you're walking around any woodlands at the moment in the UK, it's not just Sherwood Forest, then be aware that these are about, and they're about in numbers too. But they are amazing things. This is an adult female, I'm led to believe, and were she to gorge on blood, whether it be bovine, human or whatever, she will enlarge and become almost a large marifat pea size. It's quite incredible how that red abdomen area expands. At the moment, this is no more than 4 to 5 mil in length from head to toe. The head is facing downwards and they have a rostrum, and as many of you may well know, they're quite hard to get out of the skin once they're embedded, and quite often it's the small ticks that will latch onto you more than these. But after gorging on blood, I say the abdomen becomes so swollen and the tick will drop off the host. You may well find them on your carpet or on your dog's bedding the following morning after your dog's had one latch onto it. And they prefer sort of dark, moist crevices of the human body and the canine body, or any body. So it's important that you're aware that these are out in very large numbers if you come into Sherwood Forest especially, and it's all the Sherwood Forest area. But they are quite remarkable. I find it very hard to like ticks, and many people will say to me, well, what use does a tick have? And I find that quite hard to answer, but everything has a purpose in life. But the real fear factor that ticks put into people is not so much the bite, and you'll know when one's bitten you because you'll start and get an itchy spot, and there'll be a centre to that spot, and that centre will be the abdomen sticking out. The mouth parts or the rostrum of the tick will be firmly embedded, but when I get them, I start to develop an itchy rash or an itchy spot, and then it's a case of pulling them off with some fine pointed tweezers. But the real danger with these is that one could be carrying Lyme's disease. Lyme's disease is a most unwelcome and apparently rather unpleasant condition. But the rise of deer ticks like this has really been great, and certainly enhanced within the last decade or 15 years here at Sherwood Forest, and that coincided with a rise in the number of deer. There used to be red deer here in this part of the forest, but I haven't seen red deer in here for a long time, and it's mostly roe deer, but especially muntjac, that are prevalent here, and all will carry these at some time. But when they're not attached to people or deer or dogs, they sit patiently at the top of a grass blade or a stem and wait for you to come along. In their own way, they're absolutely marvellous invertebrates, but one you need to be aware of. And if you go for a walk in the woods, either just yourself or with the children, you need to check for ticks when you're back at the car. Quite fascinating things, in their own way, of course.